Hello and welcome back to Yasmin Chambers Poetry Corner. Today we're going to talk about a subject entitled Ouch, the thorn. But my grace is sufficient. And the text will come from the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, which reads as follows. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. So the Apostle Paul is writing this letter to the Corinthians, and he is conveying a message of profound meaning and wisdom. He's teaching them of his experience of constantly being reminded by something he refers to as a thorn in his flesh. Now, although he doesn't mention what the thorn in his flesh was, it could have been a struggle that he was experiencing, such as temptation, chronic pain, or some sort of physical affliction. That physical affliction could have been through headaches or depression or speech disorder or just disease. Whatever the case, he asked for it to be removed because he believed it to be a hindrance to the effective execution of his ministry. But God did not remove the thorn. Instead, God reminded Paul that it was there for a reason, a divine purpose, to take the focus off of himself and look to where his true power cometh. It comes from the Lord. Paul needed to look toward God and give him all the glory, the honor, and praise. The lesson to learn is that God's power and his grace was and remains sufficient, and nothing else is needed to provide you God's peace and joy in the midst of your weaknesses and afflictions. But why the thorn in the flesh? Well, because pain can be a constant reminder of human deficiency and inadequacy. But although we're reminded of the fact that that thorn is there and that it could be worse, we still need to express appreciation and gratitude for the fact that we were blessed to wake up by God's grace, to experience, breathe, and live out another beautiful, blessed day despite that thorn. So, God is wanting Paul to first understand that although he has human weaknesses reflected through physical affliction, it is to remind him of God's divine and awesome power, his undeserving grace, which God tells Paul is all he needs. He wants him to stop and just look upward rather than inward, and acknowledge a higher divine power than that of himself, with an attitude of gratitude and humility. So here are some points to remember from that chapter and verse. You are breathing and alive here by the goodness of God's grace, which is adequate for you to do whatever he has purposed for you to do. You are powerful in your weaknesses when you boast of Christ, and in his strength you are made whole. He was tempted in the wilderness as well by Satan to turn away from the Father's will. But Jesus was victorious in his encounters, and while establishing his personal authority over Satan and staying focused on his divine purpose and mission of conquering the cross. So I want you to know that in these trying times, number one, we are humble. When we are humble and submissive, he makes us strong in him. And when we choose to walk in his supernatural power with the assistance of the Holy Spirit in us, overcoming life's obstacles, challenges, and tests, we are victorious. And when we yield to his will and come to the end of our personal efforts, he can then take over and strengthen, empower, and inspire us to accomplish our divine mission and purpose. When we look up to him in admission and agreement of his sovereignty, he fills us with his spirit, his joy, his peace. These things the world cannot give. When we lift him up, he draws us into a divine relationship with him, providing his direction and guidance as to how to navigate in this daily human walk. His power through his spirit, which enables us to adequately function and do the work we were purposed for, and his awesome grace and mercy that picks us up and dusts us off when we fall, all equip and empower us with a sound mind and in the midst of turmoil of this world in which we live. We are resuscitated and given new breath and a new life by his grace, which is enough for you. Let that thorn become an asset rather than an expense, and allow it to bless you, not curse you. Every day, every new day, we are given a newly divine reset to live our lives according to the Father's will and his purpose rather than our own. We have been bought with a price. Surrender to your Creator, your God, and allow him to do a new thing in you. Look upward rather than inward, and remember that your thorn exists to make you better, not bitter. Until next time, I pray that you live and thrive in his grace, for it is truly adequate for you to survive and thrive successfully while reaching your divine purpose and destiny. Until next time, may God keep you in the comfort of his loving arms and bless you beyond all that you could ever imagine. Hello guys, welcome back to Yasmin Chambers Poetry Corner. The poem I'm going to read to you this week is entitled, He's Coming Back. Enjoy. The time is drawing near when my Lord will reappear. He told me a long time ago, he's coming back. I must be ready, I must be steadfast to keep the faith. His word is everlasting. Trust and believe it has not been in vain. A breath from him and we are changed. He's coming back, his second coming. Jesus will be the conquering king. No more sin, holiness restored. He will reign forever and evermore. His righteous judgment to be poured out on earth. The new world righteously rebirthed. No more trouble, sickness, or pain. Farewell to sin. Righteousness will reign. The wrath of tribulation upon a sinful nation, only to be protected by Christ himself. He's coming back, his second coming. Jesus will be the conquering king. He will reign forever and evermore. No more sin, holiness restored. Oh yes, he's coming back. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed the text. I look forward to being with you within the next week or so. Take care and walk in God's divine protection, love, and blessing.